Hey there, how are you doing? This is Tony Dubiel again from Cisco Cloud and Managed Services Organization. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration which is a follow-on from our previous video where we went through the Cisco OpenStack Private Cloud dashboard and GUI interface to spawn a net new instance of a virtual machine. As an alternative to the enhanced dashboard, we also have the ability to leverage the OpenStack command line and access to the native API from a particular project. In order to do that, we need to download our credentials from the project into our local laptop, which I'm doing here. And then we need to open up that file and run a batch script so that we can authenticate into the Cisco OpenStack Private Cloud and manage it and provision it remotely from the command line. So we'll source that file, onboarding, openrc.sh. We'll log in. Okay, now that we're logged in, we can use the Nova commands. And what we need to do is replicate some of the same tasks that we accomplished in the previous demonstration with the GUI. So in order to understand the parameters and options that we have available to build out a new virtual machine, we need to list out some of these same parameters. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is see what my key pairs are. So Nova key pair dash list shows me my key. Again, this key is for remote access to the virtual machine once it's up and running, so we can SSH into that virtual machine. So we'll take note of that key. The next thing I want to do is understand the instance types that I have available. These are the sizes of virtual machine resources that I can use to build this virtual machine. So we'll do a Nova, and that would be a flavor list. Okay, for this particular one, I'm going to use an M1 small. That'll give me 2 gigs of RAM. So we'll copy that. Okay, now what I want to do is see my images. Nova image dash list. You can see the syntax is very easy to use, very straightforward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my puppet. My puppet agent. Actually, it was farther up. My apologies. Right there, puppet agent. Right there, puppet agent. Let's get that one. Okay. So I have my images. So let's see my security groups. What do we have there? Nova sec group dash list. I'll go ahead and use this default access control list. All right, so now that we have that information, we can package it together and create a new instance type. So to save some time, let me go back to one. All right, and what we're going to need to change is the name of the virtual machine. That needs to be unique. And we will call it CLI is good. Okay, so we're building right now. You can see right here that we're scheduling resources. We're building out this virtual machine. This happens very quick from the command line. So let's go ahead and do a Nova list to see where we're at. All right, and we called this CLI is good. It is now active and running. So the last thing that we want to do as an alternative to SSH, it's a bit quicker just to jump on that console, from the web page, the web GUI, and what we can do from our web browser is connect to it. So we need to understand what that URL is, that specific URL for this particular virtual machine. So let's go ahead and do a console command here, and we need to change the name. To what we named our virtual machine, which was CLI is good. Take note of this specific URL that goes to that particular virtual machine. And let's pop it into a new tab. Okay, so now we can see that we're consoled in. Let's log in. And voila, our console is up and running. So thank you for your time today. Stay tuned. On the next video, we will look at the API compatibility with AWS. That allows us to continue to use the syntax from the AWS API from a command line perspective when building instances of virtual machines in our Cisco OpenStack Private Cloud. So that perhaps that compatibility would be nice for a team that's already familiar with AWS. Maybe they're repatriating workloads into their Cisco OpenStack Private Cloud or running in a dual mode with dev test in AWS and production possibly in Cisco OpenStack Private Cloud. However, because of the learning curve, they may be more comfortable with the AWS syntax. We certainly support that. And when when they become more comfortable, then perhaps they would use, leverage the native OpenStack command line that we just looked at in this video. So again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.